Family, I'm still in suspension. That's why I'm hiding behind the mask here. I'm hiding behind the mask. It's B Smooth, still the lover of all things Howard and the lover of all things basketball and hate everything about Norfolk State. E-Wash, what's up, man? Got you, didn't I? I got you.
Let's get the vibe right. Welcome to the show. Bison Spotlight. Chip and B Smooth, bringing heat to your ears. He washing the mix, facing down all fears. From the court to the crowd where the legends are born. Howard University, we're breaking the norm. Bison Nation stands strong through thick and thin. Basketball vibes, it's more than a win. Every dribble, every shot, it's a story to tell. Ray of excellence, we ringing the bell. Chip Washington's the name, self-proclaimed fanatic. In the heart of the game, his passion's emphatic. Come on, let's ride with the Bison crew. Passion and pride in everything we do. Hoops and dreams, we're reaching for the stars. Bison Brothers Podcast is who we are. Come on, let's ride with the Bison crew. Passion and pride in everything we do. Hoops and dreams, we're reaching for the stars. Bison Brothers Podcast is who we are.
Welcome to the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast, your number one home for all things Bison basketball. My name is Chip Washington, the self-appointed Bison basketball fanatic.
What's up, family? I'm still in suspension. That's why I'm hiding behind the mask here. I'm hiding behind the mask. It's B Smooth, still the lover of all things Howard and the lover of all things basketball and hate everything about Norfolk State. E-Wash, what's up, man? Got you, didn't I? I got you.
Evil.
I'm speechless, man. I'm speechless. I have no words.
Oh, no.
Not E-Wash.
E-Wash without words?
I have zero words.
No,
but I'm here. Oh my God.
All good.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Hey, I'm loving it. It's been a good week. As you all know, we are the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast, and just like every episode, we're dropping every Tuesday. We have a pretty packed agenda for you today. We have our normal insights, recaps, and insights. We're going to have some over and under reactions. E-Wash, he'll find his voice by the time we get to what's good for basketball, and we'll have some closing thoughts. You know, we're right in the middle of the MEAC schedule. You know, this is where we start to see some people again. So the beauty of our schedules, we get to see everybody twice before conference time here in a little over a month. And so excited about the show, excited about what we're getting into. Before we tell you why we do what we do, wanted to handle some thank yous, right? So Chip, you want to drop us with some thank yous for the show because everybody's been tuning in.
Definitely want to give a continued shout out to our number one listener, I believe, Mr. Coy Lindsay, continuing to go to the games and give us some exclusive footage that we're going to share as part of our recap package. So thank you, Coy, and continue sending us those videos.
Yeah, anybody can share those videos of what's going on in the Burr and the stands. We want to bring you all the action, not just on the court, but what's going on in the stands so you can feel like you're there. E-Wash, you had somebody you wanted to thank as your voice back, sir. I'm testing. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, testing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to I thought of one more actually. Jimmy Fly Hellman, man. I just want to say I really enjoyed his broadcasting last couple of games. Insight, you know, he got a little flavor. You know, I think B Smooth is suggesting that he might be Cajun or from New Orleans or something.
He has some seasoning. He does have some seasoning.
Yeah. He definitely fooled you with the voice. And then the second person, I know you told me, Chip, but whoever did the theme song, I have found myself waking up in my sleep singing the Bison Brothers theme song. So whoever did the theme song, man, I'll be getting in my feelings a little bit on it. All right.
That's what music does. That's what music does. Get you in your feelings. Rounding out some of the thank yous, I just want to thank the groups that we tend to see, but we don't know who all they are. Shout out to our Howard University Showtime Marching Band. They provide a lot of the sounds, especially in the Burr. I know the broadcast on ESPN is starting to let it linger a little bit longer. When it's time for us to go to break, they let the band play so you can hear what we get to hear when we're in the Burr. And right along with them, our cheerleaders, so Howard Cheer, Ooh La La dancers, the flashy flags, and of course the oh so beautiful Bisonettes. They all are there to make sure that you get a little slice of homecoming every time you come to the game. So we'll have a couple of clips here, especially in our transitions. You'll see them, you'll hear them. We've been featuring them on our Instagram site as well. So just know that we want to bring you the entire experience. This is HBCU culture. This is not just about basketball alone, but it's about what we bring to the game. So Chip, I know that people don't understand why we do what we do. We're almost halfway through the second season of doing what we do. So take a moment to let everybody know what we do and why we do it.
Bison Nation. So what we do is we cover everything about Howard basketball. Players, coaches, the stories, behind the scenes, you name it. Because why? We're your number one home for all things Bison basketball. And Bison Nation, we need you to support these championship teams. And you can do that in so many ways. You could donate to the MEAC Society. That is the team's name, image, and likeness collective. You could do that by going to the MEACSociety.org. You can also donate through the Bison Express Booster Club, and you can go to hubison.com for that. And you can donate through FanStake to put stakes on players at fanstake.com using the code MECA25. And Bison Nation, we see you out there. Continue going to the games. We want to see cheeks in seats. So support the teams wherever you are. If you're on the road, you see them in Maryland Eastern Shore, or you in Delaware, or you in Baltimore, go to the games. They need your support. And as always, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you to tell everybody about this podcast. You can hear us just about anywhere. You can hear us on YouTube, where we have over 1,500 subscribers. You can hear us on Spotify. You can hear us on Apple, and you can interact with us on Instagram at Bison Brothers Basketball. So follow us on this journey as we are supporting these championship teams. And fellas, I can't wait to get into this show today. I'm always excited to get into these recaps and talk about Howard basketball. So let's get it.
I love it with Chip's excitement and the speechlessness, the limited speechlessness of E-Wash. I think we're in for a really good show. I think I'm still suspended. So just know that if I say some things, they're going to block me out. And I'll try to put my eyes just above the line so you can tell I'm suspended when I'm talking. Is that right?
It seems like an in-school suspension. It don't seem like
it is. Well, I still got to get the assignments done, E. I still got to get the assignments done. All right. So next up, after the break, we'll get into our recaps and insights. Stay tuned. It's Bison Brothers Basketball. Hey, welcome back to the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. I am B Smooth. We have Chip Washington and E Wash. We are the brothers that make up the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. And we're into one of our favorite segments of the show. It's our recaps and insights. And today we're going to flip it up a little bit because we have 3 games to cover, but we're going to start with our ladies today because they had 1 game. And we're going to get into the guys after that. So I'm going to pull up the panel here real fast. Just adding it to the stage here. Yeah, so here's the setup, guys. 7-1 in conference play. That's our record after winning this game against South Carolina State this past weekend, 85-66. We put on a clinic, as it were. That's 9 straight at home, and we're starting to feel like this is where opponents come to have their dreams die. But as we look at the tournament, are we, we have to wonder, are we getting too reliant on our home crowd? Because we've got people back in the seats right now. So as you can see, the results, 85-66. We're continuing to win. We're 8-0 at home this season as far as playing here. And again, we opened up the scoring. This is probably our best scoring so far, as we'll get into, scoring 85 points, the highest output of the season. And then also, both Z Payne, Zanaya Thomas, and Zoe Stewart continue to really dominate, and come into their form. I know Chip's going to let us know about someone else who started to emerge as well in a second. But the idea, guys, is that we're sitting in first place, right where we want to be in the conference play, getting ready. We turned on all the jets, so it's good to see that happen. So Chip, why don't you lead us off? What are some of the insights you had to share as we start rolling maybe some highlights here?
So some of the insights and I'm gonna call it the intangibles of what I'm seeing. Like I said, we're 7-1, and I'm really appreciating that we are legitimately 11 deep. Like, we had 11 players play over 10 minutes. And what I'm seeing is the whole team is looking mature and comfortable kind of in their roles. And for it to be kind of mid-season, we got 6 MEAC games left heading into the tournament. Like, they look like they're where they should be, with still room to get better. But we shot slightly above average in a lot of categories, so you got to expect there'll be some regression back to the mean. But just the maturity and the comfortable nature when everybody it looked like, as me and Eric used to always say when we talked about the Bulls, like, it looks like they're doing things that they can continue to do. And so I'm expecting more success on the road and at the Burr. So, but yeah, like I said, I really liked. I almost forgot Imanukwe wasn't in that second 5 because she came in on kind of whatever that third wave, and I was just like, oh damn, I forgot. Like, this is still a quality, point guard, and she's coming. She's the third wave. So yeah, man, I'm excited about the rotation and the contributions that everybody is bringing, and I just think it's going to bode well for the rest of the season and for the tournament. So that's how I like it.
I love it, Chip. E. Wash, what do you have for us, man?
Well, certainly, given the suspension status of some of our members on the show, I'm not here to promote violence or anything like that, but but I did appreciate the aggressiveness displayed, and I guess I'll say by the melee that was avoided.
Hey.
Yeah, but I was like, hey, they not playing today. I was like seeing that. It's just like, when your kids get in a fight in school, you try not to be the first thing you ask, well, who won?
Right. That's right.
Not great parenting, but
we don't condone violence on the show. We use our words. Apparently.
But yeah, so I like that aggressiveness. It seemed like the minutes. This is the most I've seen minutes distributed across the entire roster. Balanced scoring. I was just what was not to like? Especially Niall Miller, man. She just seems to keep the trend up.
The glue of the team. She's how she goes is how we go. So I love the fact that she continues to show her value to the team, even if the rotation is 11 deep. You miss her when she's not on the court.
Yeah,
I love it. In terms of,
and Hennigan, I don't know. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that her most efficient game that I've seen almost all year. So see her kind of keep doing what she's doing and step up efficiency wise. Just man, can't leave out Chi-Town's finals.
Oh yeah. Ari is awesome.
And in the melee, she was the one that kind of gave the main shove.
Okay, we don't want to talk about that because Chicago get a little bit of a.
I was like, Southside, stand
up. I want to make that connection right now.
It's always the dudes from Chicago that point out the fighting in Chicago. I don't know.
I believe that is an unfair stereotype.
He's riding with it. He's riding with it all day.
When I watched the replay in slow mo, I was like, "Ooh, she moved that girl out the way."
After school, be here when I get out.
Just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in at this point of the program, you've sped up your watching to this moment. Just know that, one, we don't condone violence. We use our words. And two, everybody from Chicago ain't as tough as they sound.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, the way we started off the game, you would think that we were down by a lot of points when everybody got a little tense, but we were beating South Carolina State pretty well at that point. And so the feelings and emotions were getting away from both sides of the team. So the good news was the refs, shout out to the refs for officiating a pretty clean game. They neutralized what happened. And so nobody had to play without their best players. And, that was good for the game for us to see that. So again, a solid win going into the second half here. When we get into our closing thoughts, we'll talk about, what else we may be looking for in this part of the season. But as we're telling you, the ladies are pacing exactly where we thought they might be, and probably even better, because, we see that our entire team is a lot deeper than maybe we even expected at the beginning of the season. So if you guys are good with the ladies, we can shift our gears to the fellas. We got a couple to cover there. Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right, so let's start with the snow day. We had a makeup game we want to cover real quickly here. We played Norfolk last week, and I know they're still a little upset with me, but that's okay. They'll be fine. They had to know that we were going to bring some noise, but we had to make a trip to Baltimore. This was a game that we were looking for on the calendar once we had a little bit of icy and cold weather there in the mid-Atlantic region. So Monday night, the team rolled up to Baltimore and stepped into the physical education complex there at Coppin State. And they had one focus: leave no doubt. And after a 19-point victory, they just didn't answer, can we win on the road? But can anyone stop Cedric Taylor III the way he's playing right now? Shout out to CT3, right? 72-53. As you know, Cedric Taylor III dropped 21 points and grabbed 9 rebounds, player of the game. Also got a lot of love from Bryce Harris, who's our perennial player of the conference with 14, and Osei Okogie had 12 points and 7 rebounds to provide a little bit more muscle as we start to pull away. This game was closer, and then it got a little bit further apart towards the end there. So with this one, guys, we're still making strides here. I won't say that we're exactly where we want to be, but it felt like we turned the corner. It felt like we turned the corner in terms of the season. And so, Chip, with your insights, man, what did you take away from the Coppin State victory?
So 2 things, and I'll make it real quick because I think we took care of business with Coppin State, so no need to really dwell on them too long. But I thought it was impressive that we held their number 1 scorer. I believe his name is Kylie Horton, who I thought I was expecting to have a big game. He was held to 6 points, so that definitely didn't help their cause. And the resurgence or the return of Alex Cotton into the starting lineup. I mean, he played 35 minutes in that game and had 12 points. And so, I think for our long-term success, getting Alex back to some high-level production, I know we counted on him for, 3-point shooting. And so to see him get 35 minutes in a return, I was encouraged by that. So I think it was just overall impressive game. I like what Coppin State is trying to do. I mean, I hate to be cliche. They look like they're, a year away from being ready. The problem is the transfer portal. You never know what's going to happen and who's going to leave. But I feel like they got the right foundation. And I think under, Coach Larry Stewart's direction, they'll return to being a strong program because they used to be an anchor in the MEAC. And so I like where they're headed. They're just not there yet. So,
yeah, I love it. E-Wash, what are some things you take away from the game?
Well, I think the obvious thing that you all already hit on is the the Cedric Bryce 1-2 punch. But the biggest thing I would elaborate on there is I'm even more impressed with them defensively than offensively. I think their rebounding, their ability to switch consistently, and something that we have talked about consistently in terms of size or lack of size, the things that they bring in the post defensively are just impressive, man. So it leads to a lot more fast breaking basketball, which traditionally is winning basketball. All you got to do is see the Celtics, the Lakers. That fast break is something that's going to help us out a lot, I believe, moving forward. And you already hit on the fact that Cotton is back. I'm not sure if it was this game, the other game, he was 3 for 5 from 3. That was just great to see. And we seem to be peaking at the right time. So those are the things that I'm seeing.
I like it. I'd like to ask just a quick question, man, because both of you all have been watching almost every minute of basketball that has been played so far this season. With the last couple of games, right? Norfolk, take care of Norfolk at home, and then Coppin right after that. I know just a few games before that, it felt like we played down to our competition, and now it feels like we're actually playing at the level we want to play, and everybody has to catch up with us. So, are we finally turning the corner there based on your analysis? Does it seem like we kind of dictate the pace versus trying to figure out how to play with the people who may not be as good as we are, at least on paper?
You go first, Chip.
Yeah, no, I think so. And even, and we'll, get to kind of what I think Cedric said it at the end of the last game, like him and Bright, they're coming together. I think everybody's coming together, but they still, can get better. But no, I definitely think we've turned or kind of made a pivotal turn in the season, and I think they're coming together. And to Eric's point, defensively, we've been carrying that. I think that's probably been the most steady thing throughout the season, and so that is continuing to just get better, and that something that we can hang our hat on. So I
love it.
Yes.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. About the only thing I would add, and I'm going to shout out Mr. Hellman one more time, because when he made
Fly,
point,
Coach Fly,
Hellman, and I forgot what was the show, Roundup, something like that. It's a DMV show. It was a local DMV show. I was impressed, man. But either way, the point that he made was that not only do they play off of each other well, meaning Cedric and Bryce, but they distribute the ball well and sort of mitigate some of the point guard responsibilities. And I certainly thought about, your sort of ongoing question about point guard play when he said that, Beast Move. And I thought that, hey, man, this is really, as Chip said before, it's something that seems repeatable. Bryce, I already knew Bryce as someone who could distribute not only with the interior passing, but fast breaking as well. But to see Cedric Taylor be able to move the ball that way is bodes well for the future. No question about it.
I love that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of takeaways there, man. And again, as you all have pointed out, it's good to see us starting to play and peak at the right time in the season. We're still fighting for a choice spot in the tournament. The top 2 spots get the better seeding, so to speak, so we don't play as many games as the other teams. But yeah, coming out of Coppin, obviously it was really about us making sure that we could see if we learned something and could apply it. And so you can see it. And again, when we look back on this, we'll probably be happy that there was a snow day, that we could actually figure some things out. That extra day or two we didn't play probably led to us figuring some things out. So I'm excited. So much so that, it was good to win on the road. It was good to see that, the game traveled from the Burr last weekend, and we came back. And so let's, get us back into, the last game we have to cover today, which is South Carolina State. And so just so we're clear, that was the first game of the MEAC season. Anybody remember that 1-point loss?
Woo, boy.
It was an excellent broadcast.
Shout out to the Bison Brothers Network. Shout out to the Bison Brothers Network. And since we're talking about people who may not be happy with us, shout out to the MEAC. The MEAC is still trying to figure out how we pulled that off and how we got so many views, thanks to the 800 views we got on that men's episode alone. So with that, man, we had to get revenge, because when you go to somebody's house and they beat you, the good news is they got to come back. And they came to the Burr. And we didn't just get revenge with this score, as you see it here, 85-57. We delivered a masterclass on how to get revenge, because not only did we score well and we saw everybody really stepping into their game, we put on a defensive masterclass in this one, where I know, we left that tidbit out on the Coppin State. They kept their shooting down, was 12% from 3-point land against Coppin. But here we did a similar thing where, as you said, Chip, our defense is becoming our calling card. And again, we're still seeing the maturation of the dynamic duo of Cedric Taylor III and Bryce Harris. They both seem to be the same person, same position, but when they're playing on each side of the court, you got to pick your poison, right? In this game, Cedric had 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, and Bryce added 23 points and 3 blocks. The Bulldogs were held to just 24 points in the first half. As your boy Jimmy Fly Hellman said, he said it was a stat that I never heard you use before, Eric. So I'm pretty sure you're going to use that going forward. Is they were averaging less than a point a minute.
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I was like, wow.
And shout out to Stuart Scott. Is that bad? It's not good. It's not good. Is averaging less than a point per minute bad? It's not good. It's not good. And so when we get into it, man, I just know that I want to hear some feedback here. One, because I know I circled this one on the calendar because Chip, you and I had a chance to represent Bison Brothers down in Orangeburg, lovely Orangeburg, South Carolina. Really good for a day trip. Really good for a day trip. And so to lose by 1 in that heartbreaking fashion, there were some things I saw that we learned from that game. And, I would love to hear what you saw from this matchup here. So, Chip, you start us off here, and then Ewash, and then I'll wrap us up on this one. So, Chip.
All right. So I got 2 quick points before the highlights roll. And, number one, to the defense, I know they focused on Jaden Johnson, but to see him go 2 for 8 from the field, I was like, oh man, they really, that was an excellent job. And then 2, and I know me and Eric will probably get into it about this. I think, first of all, Cedric mentioned it after the game. He was much more aggressive going to the rack. Like, I think there were 4 or 5, dunk attempts. He missed a few. We'll see him on the highlights, but didn't have to find him that much. Sadly, I had to find Dunk Master, Basket Robbins. There was a couple of times he went up, layup when it should have been a dunk. Finding these fellas for these layups. Bryce did it in the game. Find them. Like, it was just so many fines to throw around. Everybody just.
That bell is not good for basketball.
But outside of that, they were very aggressive going to the hole, and I appreciated that. I think we need to continue being aggressive going to the rack. So textbook defense. The offense was spread out. I really it speaks for itself. If you didn't see the game, you see the score. The score was exactly how the game went. It was pretty dominant performance. I'm not going to dwell on it that much outside of people need to be dunking instead of layups. And even Fly Hellman said, or Cedric said, it was a few times when he went with the finger roll that he should have dunked it. So said, I got you. Now, Donis?
No, that's not what he said.
Donis? I'm talking to Donis because there was a few times where he went up. 6'10". This was a big boys game. He got his shot blocked. Why? Because he didn't try to dunk it. Fine. Everybody's getting fined if you're not dunking from here on out. That's all I got.
Yeah, before you jump in there, E, I know you were trying to stop him from himself, but ladies and gentlemen, this is Bison Brothers Basketball. We are in the fining business. Just know that every time you hear that sound, that means that somebody who should have gone to the basket strong, meaning that you can
we did not discuss this in pre-production.
No fine right there.
No fine there. No fine there. And it's funny because E-Wash finally found his voice. He likes to talk to the big people, not the little people, but the big people who aren't dunking. The big people who aren't dunking. So go to the basket strong, or you might hear this with your name. It's all in love. See, Travell just said, I don't want the fine. I don't want the fine. All right. He said, no. Okay, I got to hit the fine on that one. But that's okay. That's okay. That's right. He got fouled too. But listen. That sound, that's us letting you know that we know you can do more. You can do more than what you're doing right now. So if we see you like that and we see you dunking, you don't hear the fine. But if you go up and we know you had a chance to dunk that thing, ching. So E, before you get more disgusted, what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts from the game?
Chip must be adopted. That was my first thought.
Oh, wow. There's got to be a fine for that. There's got to be a fine for that. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay. The second thought is I have to apologize for starting the prop thing this season. I'm apologizing to everybody because he did say that in production.
He did. He said he had a prop.
The third thing is what Jimmy Fly Hellman said was he was complimenting my man CT3 on the beauty of his finger roll and how impressed he was that he was able to get those shots off in the moments that he did and how awesome it was. And then he said something about dunking. And of course, Chip zeroed in on that part. And as usual, pulls a negative from a positive. Just, Mr. Positivity over here.
He does know how to pull things from parts of your body you would never imagine.
But all of that being said, I do feel a little redundant in the sense that once again we saw the beauty of the 1-2 punch. Yep. Again, them being able to offset some, let's call it point guard burdens.
I just saw a layup. I saw a layup in there. My bad.
Stay focused. Stay focused. I like it.
No, hopefully this bell won't be like the theme song and I'll be hearing the bell now. It must be. It's just not right.
Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted.
But yeah, no, man, what's not to love? Yeah, it was just an all-around display of coaching, togetherness, scoring, defense. Just chef's kiss on all of it, man, no doubt.
Yeah, this is perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, it's a solid win. Again, we're protecting home, which is always good to try to make sure we limit the losses there. We got a little bit of payback coming up with Morgan State at some point because they took one over from us at the Burr, and we need to help them back. We got to get it back there. But great game, a lot of fun, great atmosphere. Some would say it was even a great appetizer to the Duke North Carolina matchup that happened just after this game. We were playing with house money once we took care of business with South Carolina State. So way to get revenge to our friends from Orangeburg. Great way to do it. Fellas, great recap, man. You guys are always very insightful. Chip, your liberal use of your prop has to be a fine. It has to be a fine for that too. So we're going to figure out what your punishment is. I'm suspended, but this show may go silent in a minute. We can't do that. So ladies and gentlemen, after the break, we're going to get into some over and under reactions, maybe without a bell. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I think I got one now too. As I saw this prop.
Hey, welcome back to Bison Brothers Basketball. This is your boy B Smooth. We got Chip Washington with a Bell addiction. And we have E Wash, who told us he was speechless, but don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you hear. We just wrapped up a really cool recap and insight segment for our last few games. The big takeaway there is that both teams are trending in the right direction. They're trending in the right direction, which makes this next segment of over and under reaction even more fun. So, Chip, I know I want you to start us off. I'll see if E is ready for one, and then I have a couple of questions that may round us out today. So, Chip, what is your over or under reaction today?
All right. So this is my overreaction, and it's going to have an asterisk. But after kind of what I saw from the last game for the ladies, so if we get above a 14 seed, I say 14 and up, I think if the resurgence of Destiny Bynum Johnson, I think we're going to need that. But if she continues that, I can see us getting to the Sweet 16. And I just want to point this out on let's go back. Just want to see, because she was hurt, right, for a while, and she started off real strong, but it was just the way that she took this jump shot that just made me go, like, she's already walking away after she took that shot. Like, that's money. And I think that, that's what we saw in the beginning before she got hurt and she kind of struggled coming back. But we get that Destiny Bynum Johnson consistently. I see us, if we can get like a 14 seed or up going into the tournament, Sweet 16, easily. So
that's officially an overreaction. Okay.
Hey,
that is awesome.
Right.
And a fine.
I mean,
well, you gotta have your own prop though, E, if you're gonna be doing that, man. You kind of went out there on a hope and a prayer with your brother that you say you don't claim no more. That's tough, man. That's tough. All right, we'll accept your overreaction. That sounds about right. We're getting close to tournament time. It's not March Madness yet, but it's called February Fever. February Fever and March Madness go hand in hand. Let's do that. All right. How about this, E? Did you have over or under reaction for us today?
Well, my overreaction is to that doggone Bell. So my overreaction is to Chip pulling a negative out of a positive and shining a negative light on his what otherwise a positive attribute moving forward of us getting layups and scoring in the paint. I don't know what to say. Be Smooth. You're right. I'm not really speechless, but this ain't right. This just ain't right. It ain't right.
Guttural sounds do count as a response.
Hey, Cedric said it himself. He should have done
it. Tell your mama. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm telling your mom.
The fact is, he probably will tell your mom. That's crazy.
Snitch.
All right, so let me round out the over under reactions. I have a couple of questions. And I just need your response: over or under reaction. So, question one: the men's team is officially favorite to win the MEAC tournament after this weekend.
Yes. Overreaction. Yes.
It's overreaction to believe that they're the favorite to win the MEAC tournament this year after this weekend.
I'm gonna say underreaction.
Oh, I love it.
And look, I'll add with the mea culpa that I look foolish because a couple of episodes ago I was like, the men ain't winning the MEAC, and so now that's
just say that
right. Exactly.
Like a very foolish statement right now. So
yeah.
Again, Consistently negative.
No, the good news is that you're comfortable in this space, Chip. Of being foolish. I like it. I like it. That's what makes this a fun show. All right. So and I'll go with underreaction based on what I saw. I think that if we play the way we play and everybody steps up the way they do, I have a hard time finding any team that can match up with us with how special we are at the small guard or big guard, small forward position with Bryce and Cedric. They both make it very formidable to say you got to pick your poison. And if we get any help on offense from Cotton and anyone else, they score like they need to. We're gonna be somebody to mess around and see what's going on. I'm glad we can get to see everybody else again, because there's some teams that if we play like we're playing right now, I'd like to see them again. We're talking to you, University of Maryland Eastern Shore. We're talking to you, Morgan State. We're trying to see you guys real quick. So second question, real quick, because it's still a thing for me. Our women are still ranked mid-major, number 21 in the country, but they're being disrespected by the national media. Should that be an over or underreaction about being disrespected by the media, even though we're ranked as a mid-major?
That will be an underreaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do tell. Why is it an underreaction for you?
Underreaction because since we fell out of the rankings, it's at least a basis to downgrade them a little bit, as opposed, since they didn't always stay in the top 25. So I mean, it's gonna probably work to our advantage and chip on the shoulder. But I would say an underreaction since we did fall out of the top 25 for I think a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say
we did make it back. We made it back. We were there. We dropped out, came back. But it supports your earlier argument of if we make the tournament and all that, we should get some better seeding. I thought maybe us being back on the list could give us some consideration to be seated higher than we just barely made it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So last one, and this is my overreaction. Okay. If Cedric Taylor III continues to play like he's playing right now in March, Howard becomes the Cinderella team in the tournament.
In the big tournament or the MEAC tournament?
The big tournament, bro.
Okay.
That's my overreaction.
Okay.
Yeah, he's playing a guy. You got to stop him.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. That's why we have this segment.
That's why we have this segment. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you heard. Just because I want you to think about it, and I want you to do like we're going to ask the listeners to do right now. Please, as you get to this point in the show, jump out there in the chat, especially on YouTube, and tell us over underreaction. Chips told you that Destiny Bynum Jr. is going to be the difference between us getting a higher seeding potentially or not if she plays the way she's supposed to play as we make the tournament. What's your reaction to his over underreaction? How do you feel about the bell? But this time you'll have heard it so many times you'll think that you have to hear the bell in order for you to keep going, right?
If they don't like the bell, you're getting fined. So
please,
you put that in the comments that you don't like the bell.
And for me, do you rock with me saying if Ced keeps playing the way he's playing right now, we have to be considered a Cinderella team, because we're gonna make some noise if we can get the team playing like it's supposed to and just playing up to our ability. So let us know in the chat. Please make sure you take a moment to let us know, because we have fun with this, and your reactions are just as fun and maybe as ridiculous as ours, which makes it even more fun to hang out. So
now you're making me ask a question.
I'm sorry.
You're making me ask a question now. I'm sorry.
Is that for the next segment or for this segment?
This segment right here.
Okay.
Is this team more talented than last year's team?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I would
last year was Dockery, right? Harper. And when it one more. Oh,
Cameron Shockley, OKK, yeah, Jaron Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have guys who are playing pro ball. They were on that last year's team.
And this team is more.
This team is currently assembled is more talented than the team we had before.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to put Dennis aside. He's still growing into his, but from the positions we have, these guys, the way they're playing now, the togetherness they're playing with, better team.
Okay.
Well, now I want to skip in, and this might be for the audience though. Which women's team was better, last year's women's team or this year's women's team? Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we want to revise history like some of our politicians. So we want to see if you all think that a blast from the past is better than what we got going on right now. So please, this is some good stuff to chime in on for the super fans, not the casual fans, but the super fans. We need you to lean in on this. Let's talk about it because we are trying to get ready for the MEAC tournament, but it's always good to go back. It's Black History Month. We should go back and talk about what we've done to make it happen to even get to this point. So next segment, we're going to get into E-Wash's basically largest contribution to the program, which is what's good for basketball. So when we come back from the break, we're going to jump in and talk a little bit more about what's good for basketball. So stay tuned. We're Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast.
Howard University, best to ever do it, G. HBQ worldwide, running for eternity. Out for the culture, real proud of my people. 15 undefeated, who else got this here? Howard University, best to ever do it, G. HBQ worldwide, running for eternity.
Still love that dunk, man. Shout out to Cameron Indoor. Hey, it's Bison Brothers Basketball. You got Chip Washington, you got Be Smooth, and the one and only, the incomparable E-Wash. And he's here to bring us a little bit more about what's good for basketball. E-Wash, the floor is yours, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. Given our some of our activities over the last couple of weeks and some at-large responses to our broadcasts, it got me to thinking about a lot of things. Well, two things actually, but it sort of ended up being a twofer. And what I'm getting at specifically is dynasties and rivalries and how good they are for basketball. And what originally got me to thinking about it, one, shout out this author, what's his name here? Marcus Thompson II. This is a pretty good book called Dynasties. It's not a heavy tone, but it's definitely something that got my attention and seemed timely given that we're moving into the meat of the season and we're dealing with some people in the future that are going to test our mettle and hopefully will catapult us ourselves into the category of being a dynasty. I don't think we're quite there, but it certainly put something on my mind. And, it also got me to thinking about George Mikan, the centerpiece of the NBA's first dynasty, if you will. George Mikan, an awesome basketball player on the 50 greatest and on the 75 greatest players list in the NBA, Hall of Famer, Chicagoan. Went to DePaul, coached by Ray Meyer, just the arbiter, the antecedent, if you will, of what it means to be a dynasty in basketball. I guess I would shout out to Harlem Wrens in that regard as well. But got me to thinking about, well, who's the dynasty in the MEAC right now? Got me to thinking about that. So that's the first part of the twofer. And, I went on ChatGPT and I had a little trepidation even about doing this segment. But after hearing the bell and seeing my man Be Smooth on suspension, I think adding some balance to this paradigm might be not only indicated, healthy even. And so, doing my research, I'm sure you guys know this better than I do. Over the last 5 years, clearly the most dominant team on the men's and the women's side has been none other than the Evil Empire of Norfolk State. And I kind of dove into that a little bit on ChatGPT, and I thought about how much it sucks losing to them, but I think it also gives us a carrot to reach for, something to not only meet but exceed, hopefully at some point. But I don't think that the paradigm would be as poignant or sweet if they didn't exist in the first place. So it just brings to mind to me the value of good rivalries and dynasties. So I'm looking forward to Howard taking its place in that vanguard. So that's the first part of the twofer, right? And the more I kind of dug into George Mikan and the positive things that we keep focusing on about the team, got to thinking about my children, as I often do. And even though my oldest son Solomon sold me out and went in the football direction, I still thought about how much time we spent honing his basketball skills. And one of the things, and this goes for Asa too as well, one of the things that I focused on zealously, I would say, with them was the Mikan drill. The Mikan drill, something that they hated hearing me talk about it. They hated me forcing them to do it. Whenever I was around their teammates, I'm like, why can't you make a layup on the left side of the basket? You need to be doing the Mikan drill. And of course, if they had a bell, they would be ringing that bell every time I brought up the Mikan drill.
Right.
I could not overreact to how much they hate. Oh, here he come with that again, right? Until we were watching a clip of the U.S. Olympic team warming up, and one of their favorite players, one of the most admired players of a lot of young people, Kyrie Irving, was being asked, hey, how are you able to finish so well at the basket, given your size? He said, oh, I use the Mikan drill. Oh my God. I wish I could just put it over. I wish I could put that on a bell. Mikan drill, Mikan drill, Mikan drill, Mikan drill. Because it's an invaluable, tool. And what it really shows me, which I'm also seeing with our team, is the value of working on a fundamental skill set, fast breaking, inside out, all the things we talk about, man. And so I think that also is something where you can piggyback on traits and attributes of dynastic teams. They have styles of play that are pretty consistent over time, And so it was the second thing that made me say, hey, man, dynasties are good for basketball. Because when you're winning at the apex of what's required to become a dynasty, you can't take any shortcuts. Anybody can do it for a minute, but to do it over and over and over again is not an accident. And that is why I say dynasties and George Mikan are good for basketball.
Well done. Well done. These historical connectors are getting more and more interesting. Ewash, I'm glad you're helping us this time in the season where we could easily be a prisoner of the moment and only thinking about what we just saw on TV or what the latest highlight was on your favorite sports channel. But George Mikan, that's a good one. And if you ever get over to the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts, they do a wonderful job. I believe it's the second or third floor where they do a whole thing about all the dynasties from the beginning of basketball to now. And you can see them all at one time. So you can start to make notes about what do they have in common regardless of social and economic differences of the time, they all had something in common around the ability to do the simple extraordinary, right? And so that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. So I think we might be ready to get to our closing thoughts. Any proposition there on this? So on the other side of the break, we're going to close this out, man. Got a few thank yous, a few things we're looking forward to, and we'll be right back after this break here. Yeah, welcome back to the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. We have E. Wash, we have Chip Washington, and I'm your boy B Smooth, still the lover of all things Howard and the lover of all things basketball. And I'm really enjoying my in-school suspension for the episode. You may hear me more as we get into the season, but today I'm on lockdown. And that's why we're going to close out this show as quickly as we can so that we can get on about the business of watching more Howard basketball. So before we close out like we normally do, just want to continue to shout out the fact that we did hit a huge milestone on YouTube, 1,500 subscribers, a little bit more now, 1,504 or so if you're counting at home. Next goal is 2,000, so you'll see a few things that we're putting out there. So continue to share the podcast, as Chip asks you at every episode. We love the fact that you're leaning in. The engagement has been phenomenal. I know Chip, you shouted out Coy, Lindsay, all the fans that we have that are leaning in and sharing their experiences in the Burr cheeks and seats. Continue to share your experiences because we want to bring that to the show. Also want to continue to shout out those who give us that slice of homecoming every time we go to the Burr. So shout out to the HU Showtime Marching Band, our Howard Cheer team, Ooh La La, Flashy Flags, as well as the oh so beautiful Bisonettes. And I'm only calling them that because my daughter was one back in the day when she was at Howard. So some special love to her as we go. So guys, as we're looking forward to the next week here, we're right where we want to be. Both teams are really accelerating and ascending at the right moment here. We have a couple of games on the ladies' side. They make a road trip. By the time you hear this episode, they'll be getting ready for a road trip to Delaware State, and then they'll be ready to look for some payback. The one loss on the season so far is with University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Guess who gets to come to the Burr on Saturday on Valentine's? Yep, University of Maryland Eastern Shore is making a road trip for Valentine's. We're just trying to break their hearts, though. We're just trying to break their hearts. And on the men's side, by the time you hear this episode, we'll have played a game that we like to do each year. We play somebody in the Ivy League. And so this year we're hosting Yale. University is going to come into the Burr. And so by the time we drop this episode late Monday night, for those who listen really closely, by the time this drops, we'll have played a game against Yale and hosted them at the Burr, right? And then we would turn our sights to a little bit of payback with University of Maryland Eastern Shore coming to town at the Burr, another doubleheader at the Burr. So Chip, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that Yale game before we close this out, man. What you got for us, man?
Yeah, so one interesting note, just like with all of college basketball, but Yale, we went to overtime with them, I think it was 2 years ago, January 24. And that team is returning. There's at least 3 players from that team that are still on the team now, and one was a starter back in 24. So just like we got a little championship DNA coming back in memory, from that game. So kind of looking forward to that. And Yale right now is their second in the Ivy League. So it's going to be a pretty formidable attempt. They've beaten us 4 times now, but I'm hoping that by the time you watch this episode, we will it'll be 5-1 or 4-1, and we'll take care of business. But it's going to be a good test. But Ced, Bryce, the whole squad, I think this might be the time that we get.
I love it. Yeah, thanks, Chip, and something to look forward to. Doing this matchup with the Ivy League is really cool because at least academically, they're about on par with us as far as what it means to be at a top institution, and so the sports kind of coming together is really cool. Plus, our pedigree from coaching, we have a lot of players that come back and forth from the Ivy League. So this will be a good one. This will be a good one to look forward to. It's also Greek night too. So shout out to the Noops, shout out to the Qs and everybody else who represents all the things they do running around on campus. So with that, I'm sorry, Ewash, you had one more?
Yeah, since you mentioned Greek night, I'm not in a fraternity, but I definitely wanted to commend the brothers of Omega Psi Phi. They put on an excellent event. I think it's the Brandon Adams Recruiting Summit. I was so impressed seeing what they were doing in the community with that. They had a lot of coaches out, a lot of HBCUs. So even though it wasn't basketball, it was great to see kind of a manifestation of all the things that we talk about as sort of community goals for HBCU sports on full display. I just want to give them some credit and some love for that. It was really impressive.
Shout out to the community building. The men of Omega Psi Phi tend to do what they need to do. Apparently, friendship is essential to the soul, as they tell us.
Essential.
And like I said, shout out to my brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Z chapter, where I was made at Howard. So it's a beautiful thing to see us doing what we can to build the community. So looking forward to seeing how that comes together. I do know that coming up on Valentine's here, we are looking at maybe putting something special together for those of you who all rock with us. Stay tuned. We may do a little bit of a live stream. I promise MEAC, we're not going to stream the game, so don't worry about us trying to violate any contracts there. I'm still on suspension. But we will have something that allows you all to get a little hype for this. There's very few of these matchups where we're circling both games because those are payback games. So thank you, University of Maryland Eastern Shore out of Salisbury, Maryland, for giving us something to look forward to on Valentine's, besides spending time with our booze. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to make sure we have some fun. Look forward to that. And as we wrap up the show here, Chip, let's get out of here like we normally do, bro.
Bison Nation. Oh, I love it. Tell us hit the subscribe button. You've been watching all this time. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Tell us what you think about what we said in this episode, and continue to support these championship teams. The Mecca Society, donate there. Bison Express, donate there. Fan Steak, donate there. Continue to go to the games, and please continue to tell everybody about this podcast. We appreciate your support. You can hear us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and you can interact with us on Instagram. So, fellas, I enjoyed this show. Can't wait to hear all the comments from Bison Nation. And we're going to get out of here like we always do. Y'all know how we do. You know.